All right, welcome back to Off the Tap. This week is episode 84, and we're doing Dublin Me Luck from 11 Below Brewing Company.
Kick back to the old H-Town.
Oh, yeah.
We've had some 11 Belows, right? I think
Oh, yeah.
on pod and off pod, obviously.
Yeah, I know I've had some off pod. We did the little snack from 11 Below. That was a good
Oh,
one.
yeah. And then the mini boss. That's Eureka High. Excuse the shit out of me. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
you better be careful doing that. We've also done an Oktoberfest from them.
Yes.
On the
So
pod.
as I mentioned whenever you brought these in, I think this is a seasonal release, but it's not a limited. So I think that I have had this on draft.
Okay.
And here's why. Because I remember not at the brewery, but it was like somewhere at a pub somewhere. So fitting considering
Yeah,
it's
an
Dublin
Irish
Me Luck
pub.
and it's the St. Patty's Day, but it was on the tap, and the tap itself we are off the tap, but it was on the tap. And it was the big green clover leaf that had a Texas in it. So
Dublin Me Luck was off.
Off the tap.
The tap.
It was off the tap.
Off the tap. So yeah, this is an Irish red coming in at 5.6% ABV and 20 IBUs.
5.6, you say?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just check. There is some seasonality to this one, obviously. 5.7 on the can, 19 IBUs. So it's still close enough.
Okay. Yeah. So obviously, each batch is probably gonna be different. This is their spring seasonal, 100%. Yeah.
Okay. So 5.7 is nice, and 19 IBU, it's gonna be very drinkable. Here's the thing about Irish Reds. I love them, but honestly, I think I've had like 4. Like, yeah, I want to say I've drank a ton of them, but I mean, I've only had 4 different brands. You know what I mean?
Oh, yes. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever really had a lot of Irish Reds. I mean, I've had like I guess like what you're saying, like I've had a handful, like different styles, I guess, or different brands, but yeah.
I like how so I'm gonna read the back of the can here, but what I find very interesting on this is if anybody's familiar with 11 Below cans, you can Google it or whatever. They always have the 11 Below. There's a down arrow. It's got the address to the brewery, proudly brewed in Houston, and then obviously the recycle symbol, and then it fades into a Texas. But on this one, it says, "I wish you would recycle."
Rish.
Irish.
Oh, Irish you would recycle. Yeah. Okay. Nice.
But this is okay, the description on the can, we've already gone over kind of the stats here, 5.7, 19, 5.6, 20, based on online, but Dublin Me Luck, the Irish Red Ale. The holidays and family drama are over, but St. Patty's is around the corner, and it's time to get in the spirit. It would have been funny if they were like, it's time to stir shit back up again. Nothing says slaw.
It's time to get drunk at a family function again, baby.
Again.
Let's do it.
It's time to bring up traumatic childhood experiences inconveniently once more in front of large crowds of people. Dublin Me Luck's rich malt backbone and unique Irish yeast character give this malty little treat all you need to get lucky. Also, I have no idea why it says this, and there's no way you're going to get this in the clip that you put on the thing. And it's not focusing in there. But it says whale oil beef hooked.
Whale oil beef hooked?
Oh, I get it now.
Well, I'll be fooked.
Well, I'll be hooked. We'll all be fucked. That's what it means.
Well, I'll be fooked.
Well, all beef hooked. Well, I'll be fooked. Okay.
That's pretty good.
I was very confused at first. I was like, whale oil beef hooked. And then I was like,
good.
well, I'll be hooked.
That's good.
I didn't that was real time putting it together on there.
Hey, just like we always do it.
Well, I'll be hooked. All right.
I'll be hooked. That's
Dublin Me Luck. All right. So it had a pretty decent pour. Beautiful color for red. Yeah. Very pretty. Had a decent head. Ooh, I'm gonna tell you.
Oh no.
Smells way better out of the can. I'm gonna pretend that I didn't smell it in the glass.
Okay.
Ooh. Yeah, it's got like a
Little
I don't know
rough.
why. Yeah, it's got you know what it smells like? Ooh, man.
Oh
Okay.
man.
Here's the thing. I haven't tasted it yet. I'm going in for a taste.
Okay.
Oh, tastes good. A little caramelly, I think, for me, but we'll get into that later. Bro, I don't know why, but for some reason in the glass when I just smell the surface of it, this is going to be a very specific smell, but us at least East and Southeast Texans will be very well aware. All right, dude.
Okay.
This is gonna get deep, but during love bug seasons, during love bug season,
Yeah.
have you ever used one of the gas station squeegee systems? Like the
Yes.
freebies that are out there? All right. Trying to keep it
Yeah.
together here. After like 2 or 3 days of heavy, like where it's raining love bugs, where like
Yeah.
it's
It's like a
like yeah,
cloud of them everywhere you go.
yeah. That the smell of those bugs in that solution
Oh
as
my
you're cleaning your
god, dude.
window is what the glass smelled like. But again, that could just be
Oh no.
something that happened. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. There are very few things that will turn my stomach inside out. Love bug squeegee juice, one of them.
Wha- Oh
So
man.
yeah, because it's like communal squeegee juice. Like everybody's
Damn.
bugs are getting in it. You
Yeah,
know?
all the bugs. You talking about like the stuff that's in the residual container when you put it back in?
Yeah, but like, that thing's been over 500 windshields that had at least 1 million love bugs on each windshield.
Well, yeah, and it's 85 degrees.
85,
90 degrees.
95, yeah,
Yeah.
bro, and it's just bacon in there. It gets thick and like slimy. Anyway, I
Yeah.
digress, but
Well, listen, I'm not getting any of that out the can, so I don't know what's
okay,
going
good.
on here.
So if yeah, I'm not saying that's not even homework that I could assign you guys, but when love bug season rolls around, my lord. You want to talk about put somebody, dude? Oh, just fucking giving somebody a thimble of that. All right, I'm in. All right,
Okay,
so
let's
all right, we're back
stop.
on. We're back
Let's
in
stop.
Dublin Me Luck.
Yeah. I
Well,
wanted to
I'll be fucked.
well, I'll be fucked.
Be fucked.
um, I wanted to look at the can a little bit more because online it's like a solid orange can, but I guess
Yeah.
well,
This is.
it's one of
Go
the
ahead.
wrapped ones again that we
Yeah,
got.
this is one of
Okay,
those ones where they ran out of cans. I mean, ran out
okay,
of cans, so they had to wrap. Yeah.
okay. Because I was curious if maybe they had changed something, but it's just they had more than they anticipated thing, I guess.
Yeah, dude. Also, for it being like almost a 6% and a red ale, it's very
Mellow.
light. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Good. I guess mellow is a good way to put that. But yeah, very light.
Yeah, it is.
Um,
It doesn't hit super hard.
no, and it doesn't also feel super heavy. I mean, obviously we're like 5 sips in, but it doesn't feel like it's gonna be heavy.
No, I mean time will tell. We'll get to that, I guess. But I do like the colors on it, the orange and
Yeah.
green, of course. That I think that orange color in particular is probably my favorite orange color that we have.
Yeah, it's not a burnt orange. It's like a Sam orange.
Yeah,
I don't know what that orange officially is. I'm sure,
eat 'em
like
up, cats.
everything, there's okay. Yeah, I'm sure there's like a specific color, right?
What do you mean?
Like, I mean, I'm sure it's called something
Oh,
specific.
yeah. No, yeah. It's I mean, I couldn't give you the name of it obviously, or else I would have said it. But it's definitely
Oh,
got something.
yeah, dude. Oh, so I thought of something. I mean, this is way off topic, but now that we're talking about colors, um, I think it's so hilarious. This probably happens in other, I don't want to say professions, but in other realms of consumer goods. But dude, it just blows my mind how like fishing lures and fishing worms, like they will just make up a color, but like the whole industry then like will make that color. You see what I'm
Yeah,
saying? It's not even proprietary to the, that, um like
chartreuse.
to no, I mean chartreuse is like an actual color, but like I'm saying like they're not like there's okay, for instance, there's a very popular color called electric chicken. Like that's not a fucking color.
Okay.
But it is. And but like not just the person who made the first electric chicken, like everybody now makes that electric chicken color, like even though that's not a real fucking thing. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah. Well, that's
Um
probably because that happens because somebody used it and realized it was a good color. So everyone was like, "Do you need to get these electric chicken worms? These are
yeah,
the
but
things to do." And then other companies are like, "Oh, we need to make that," and they named it the same color because
okay. Yeah.
you
And
know
dude, that electric chicken one is one. Monkey milk is another one. Um,
pumpkin seed.
uh, yeah, pumpkin seed, but that one kind of works. I mean, I think a little bit. That's not a
A
real
little bit,
color,
I
but you're
guess.
right.
A
Anyways, I
little
just thought
bit.
that was very interesting. Like, who else is just doing that? You don't see people just making up colors. I mean, I guess people are making up paint colors, but like, oh yeah, you're right. I guess that happens everywhere. I just feel it funky. I just feel that it's so funny that like they can
Oh,
literally use whatever the fuck they want to describe the color. They're like, "Oh, that looks like monkey milk," and people are like, "Yeah, you're right. That is monkey milk."
it is my. It's not quite like cow milk. It's like a little bit. It's a little bit more brown.
Mm, nope,
Definitely more. I don't know
drastically
what.
different.
I don't know what monkey milk looks like. I was just throwing out a different shade of color there.
I am gonna tell you that it looks nothing like milk, and or a monkey. It's just like a cloudy. It's almost like they screwed up when they were pouring
Why?
clear into a container.
Why
Yeah.
are you aware of what color monkey milk is?
Well, it's a good point. You're right. Maybe it
I have a
does look like monkey
lot of
milk.
questions.
Listen, I think it's one of those things that inherently you just know that it's not going to look like that. I don't know what that's called, but it's just like when people are like, "Oh, dude, it tastes like shit," and like, I mean, obviously, I don't necessarily know for a fact,
I
but
mean,
I can make some assumptions.
I mean, 90% of your taste is smell or something, right? Or your smell is like it's taste is smell, right?
Bro,
So
did you just have a mini stroke? What the fuck just happened?
isn't
You
that the
didn't like
term?
none of that. I mean, I know what you're alluding to, but none of what you just said made sense to hear it out
Okay,
loud.
okay. 90% of your taste is smell,
Okay,
right?
that makes more sense. You were like, isn't a 60% of smell taste? Isn't taste like
Okay.
something that you
Well, I didn't know
smell
which one it
with your
was, all
taste?
right? I didn't know which one it was. I
No.
didn't know if it was smell or taste.
Yeah, I think it's like 70 or 80% of your taste is you
So when
smelling,
you
which is why I was
smell a turd, you can kind of guess what.
dude. Also, who's just referring to it as a turd? Like that's just not a thing anymore, is it? That's a real throwback to like some
Dude,
90s root 80s 90s roots.
come on, man. What a
Just
poop?
just a just a nobody's poop, but turd. So that okay, real quick. That's why I was a little bit concerned that the beer was going to taste bad because that 70%, actually 100% of what I smelled was not good, but it tastes way better than that.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's fair enough. Maybe we don't know what crap tastes like. Is that better?
Yeah, that's better. I'm
Okay.
I'm glad that you keep trying different ones because it's so hard to have like a legitimate conversation with like a stance on one side or a stance on the other when you use the terminology such as turd
Or poop.
or poop.
It's funnier though. Let's be honest with ourselves.
It is a little bit, but you're like, oh god, that tastes like doo doo. That doesn't hit just as hard
Okay.
as
Okay.
like shit or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. Let's get off of this. Huh? How about that?
I'm glad we could agree. So real quickly, obviously, Dublin Me Luck. It's
Yeah.
an Irish red. It's seasonally released for St. Patty's Day. I know that we've talked a little bit in the past about St. Patty's Day. I know there's been a number of episodes that coincide with St. Patty's Day. It's obviously a fairly beer heavy holiday. We're not
Yeah.
going to get into what it actually is because I think we've already shared some of that. But if I
Yeah.
were to ask the question of like, what are some good guidelines, some St. Patty's do's and don'ts, and they can be like recommendations, but they can also be like something that you always do or something that you never do on St. Patrick's Day. Do you have any that come to mind?
Hmm. Well, no matter how much you want to, let's still abide by the laws here, you know. Let's not drink and drive still, you know.
Oh, yeah,
Maybe
yeah,
maybe
for
maybe
sure.
let's not, you know, PI it too hard. You know, a little bit of
Ah,
public
man,
intoxication.
I think PIs are innocent. Obviously, driving is not
Well,
a good thing, but like, who driving is not a good thing to do while you're drinking, 100%. But like, when has a PI actually ever hurt anybody except for the person receiving it? Like, you know what I'm
well,
saying?
yeah. I mean, let's not do that for individual sake,
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
you know.
obviously, we're not telling you to go out and do
But
that, but
also
yeah,
that's kind
that's
of like but also that's kind of part of it, like to go out and get intoxicated publicly, you know.
dude. I mean, that's pretty much kind of like the folk. I mean, that's not obviously the holiday at its core. It's a religious holiday, I'm sure, because of being with aligned with St. Patrick. But that's pretty much what it is nowadays. That's the public side of it. That's the commercialized side of the holiday. It's just
Right.
going out and getting publicly intoxicated.
The green rivers, the green beer, all that good stuff. Um
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think a big don't for me is a green beer. I think I'm not going to drink a green beer.
Really? I listen, okay, here's a don't for me. Don't judge folks that do want to indulge in them or don't want to indulge in them. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. Yeah, it shouldn't
Um,
split the room. It should be individual choice.
what is your, I mean, because obviously it's artificial coloring. Like there's no way to do that naturally.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm sure there's a brand out there now that has figured it out. But so what is your reasoning behind not wanting the green beer?
I don't want to pee green, man. I
Dude,
don't
what is your like? You have a weird thing about that. Like, I don't want to eat this because I'll pee or poo. Which again, how have we circled
What?
back to this? Like you say that a lot. Like, I don't give a shit. Like,
I
I
just feel
what
like
does it
that's
matter?
horrible for your kidneys
Yeah, I mean
to
it's
let
not the
some food
best, but
coloring roll through it, but I guess beer in general is probably not great for your kidneys either.
no, I think beer's fine. But like, dude, and maybe like your diet is like better, but like, I'm pretty much gonna say like, oh, 24 green beers one day a year or one energy
24?
drink.
My
Well, I mean,
God,
dude,
you
it's
are
fucking
getting that PI, brother.
it's fucking St. Patty's Day, dude. We ain't hanging it
Sheesh.
up early.
Oh my
Mama didn't raise no
God.
bitch, dude. We're laying them
Oh,
down. But
mama,
I'm
mama
just
apparently
saying,
raised one because I ain't doing that.
all I'm saying is if
Jeez.
okay, whatever, 6, 10, I don't know what the number is. All I'm saying is it's okay to consume that much artificial color on that one day because like it's nowhere near as bad as like one energy drink. There's no
Yeah,
way.
well, to be fair, I also don't drink energy drinks.
Yeah,
So,
I know. That's what I'm saying. And I don't really drink them either, but I'm saying like there are times where I will put those in my body. So like, can I really judge myself for putting a case of green beers in there? No.
no, I guess not. I don't know. It just kind of weirds me out, too, where it's like,
No.
I mean, I know it doesn't really like change anything about the beer other than the color, but I just kind of am like, I don't really want to drink a green beer. I don't know why. Which is, I mean, you think that's what Shrek drinks?
Possibly, but that's a little weird. That would be like us drinking cups of blood colored things, but I do love Hawaiian punch.
I was about to say, brother. You know what I mean? That sounds pretty good.
So, don't. So for you, it's a don't on drink green beer. For me, it's a do as you wish with green beer.
Okay.
Also too, I don't know if this is like a legitimate thing. I'm gonna have to Google this, but do for some reason I always do. I'm not saying that you have to, but dude, for some reason we always get a soft pretzel.
Oh, yeah, that
And I
sounds
think
good.
you mentioned it last week, and I didn't put the two and two together, but I always St. Patty's Day we always get, and I don't know if that's like a fair food thing, but like we
That's
always
kind
get
of
soft pretzel.
interesting because is a pretzel not a German thing?
Yes, definitely.
So what is that? Is this just kind of like something you did that like something you did one year and you were like, "Oh, this fits St. Patty's Day for me?"
No, I'm like saying I don't know if I necessarily go out of my way for it, but anytime we go somewhere to, indulge in the spirit of St. Patty's Day, whether it's brewery, whether it's festival, whether it's, parade, whatever, there always tends to be soft pretzels that are there. It's kind
Hmm.
of weird.
Probably because it's bar
Um,
food, man.
maybe.
A
I
good
mean, that's definitely guaranteed.
a
But
good
those are
soft
usually like the
pretzel hits
crispy kinds,
hard.
right?
Yeah, but man, I don't know. You get a good soft pretzel at a good brewery, dude. Pretty much 9 times out of 10.
Oh man, like I don't want to be like this guy, but how hilarious is this? So I did Google St. Patrick's Day. Sorry, not to cut you off, but I found this very shockingly stereotypical. And so on the History Channel, there is an article that's the history of St. Patrick's Day, and it's a parade, and all these people are dancing down the street, and I shit you not, every single one of them is just a pasty ass ginger, and I'm like that's not okay, you know?
That's just not cool, okay? What
No.
is this? What is this? Uh,
Um. Yeah. Go
like
ahead.
I remember growing up, and for what I guess it just because it's a Irish themed thing, there's always leprechauns involved as well.
Yeah.
And I was always just kind of like, why are we just celebrating leprechaun? Right, I was a kid, so I'm like, are
Yeah.
we celebrating leprechauns? What's going on here? So I never
So
really, put it together really until later on.
also, I don't think it's like a religious holiday that like we necessarily celebrated. So the Irish have observed this day as a religious holiday for over 1,000 years.
Hmm.
It falls during Lent, and Irish families would go to church in the morning and then they would celebrate in the afternoon. Lenten prohibitions,
By
right? So
getting
anything
absolutely obliterated.
Yeah, yeah. So Lenten prohibition. So anything that was prohibited during Lent against the consumption of meat were waived, and people could dance, drink, and feast on traditional meals of Irish bacon and cabbage. So
Okay.
it was kind of like in Mario when you run by the flag and you save your spot, in the middle of the level. You know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about?
Yeah.
And that way, if you die, that's where you can restart. It's kind of like that for the Lenten holiday for Irish people. They're like, hey, we're a couple days in, we're
Yeah.
fucking halfway there. We've made it this far. We need to relapse for a second and then continue on about our way.
Yeah. We just need one day to get it out of us and then we're good for 20 more. We'll be clean
Yeah.
again.
So St. Patrick, obviously being the patron saint of Ireland, and he's their national apostle. He was kidnapped and brought to Ireland as a slave at 16, he later escaped but returned to Ireland and was credited with bringing Christianity to its people.
Okay.
So that's why they
A
celebrate him.
legend. He deserves to be celebrated
Lives,
with numerous brujas.
Yeah, you almost tipped it for me there. But yeah, so um kick back to good old St. Pat. So other dues, I get pretzels, I do indulge in green beers, although I don't consume mass quantities any longer. Um I do recommend. Do you have any specific recommendations?
No, not really. So here's the thing with St. Patty's Day for me is one, it falls on my best friend's birthday. So we always celebrated his birthday really mainly growing up instead of St. Patty's Day in particular. And two, I've never really like gone out and celebrated St. Patty's. You know what I
I
mean?
got you.
So most times when I was celebrated it, it was like at school. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, so I don't really have anything like that I recommend you go do or go try. I don't have anything that I would do food wise either because obviously I haven't gone out for that. Um, but I mean, I guess anything Irish, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I also like I always just think beer. I'm more of a beer drinker. Like I always just think beer and then the beer's green, but like even though like it's generic, one of my favorite whiskeys is still Jameson.
Mm,
And so I think and
Yeah.
not that I go crazy, but I drink enough of it year round to, honor Sir
Yeah.
Saint Patrick.
Yeah. You can do
Um,
some Jameson. You should do some Proper 12.
yeah, and I'm not against it. I just don't know if I just haven't drank as much of it as I have Jameson over the years. Um,
Well, there's
do
no
I would
shot.
recommend? I would what?
There's no shot you have.
Oh yeah, because obviously it hasn't been around as
No,
long.
yeah, it's only been around since like 2017 or something. Well, I
Yeah.
guess technically it was around a little longer, but it didn't get to the States until 2017, I think.
So another one, I do recommend this, man. So Savannah, I know Chicago has a massive one, but Savannah, Georgia has like, I think the number one or the number two size St. Patrick's Day celebrations.
Really?
Yes, they dye the rivers green. They do all of the
Is
shenanigans.
it
They
a
have a
big Irish
massive.
city?
I don't know why. I don't know why.
That's
That's a
interesting.
good thing. That's a good thing to look up.
Yeah, that is
But
kind of funny.
they have all of the food, all of the events. I think there's like obviously there's a massive parade. And then I think there might be a carnival that's there too, but like I'm talking it's like hundreds of thousands of people fly in for this. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous. Yeah.
I was thinking, why doesn't Houston dye the bayou green? But then it dawned on me that if they dyed it green, it would really just still be brown.
Well, I'm gonna say there's not a volume of dye that we could get into that water where you'd be able to tell the difference.
That you would, yeah, it would just turn from a really murky brown to a slightly less murky brown, I feel like it wouldn't even make
Yeah.
it darker, like it makes everything else darker. It might, hey,
Um,
some of that food coloring, if we put it in the water like that to change the color, it might kill off some of the bacteria.
Possibly. Hopefully it would kill something in that water.
Yeah,
Um,
should think about it, Houston.
so I mean, dude, yet again, giving away our good ideas. It's not gonna make anything worse. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, not at all.
Um, Irish roots do run deep in Savannah, as well in the rest of the state of Georgia. The Irish were among some of the first settlers to arrive in the new colony in 1734. So that's it. It's just steeped
Mm.
in Irish heritage.
You,
Um,
do you think Idaho goes crazy? Because they're like a big potato state, you know.
yeah, see now you're stereotyping, bud. Okay?
Well, listen.
Just because they got spuds there doesn't necessarily mean they're Irish. Good
I
Lord.
mean, I mean, the Irish know potatoes, man. That's not being
Yeah, I
serious. It's just
know.
like there's certain people that know things, man.
No, 100%, but like that doesn't mean that Irish folks settled Idaho just because it's a hotbed for potatoes.
That's a good
Very
question. You don't
shallow
know.
of you to understand.
Listen, if there
All
was
right.
based on that infrastructure of potatoes alone in the United States, you're telling me somebody else in the world didn't go, I wonder if Idaho was mainly settled by Irishmen.
I mean English. Surprise, surprise.
Okay. Well,
Um,
it
but
was it, it was a
hold on.
thought, okay?
I mean, yeah, a little lopsided.
Whatever, man. It's
Okay.
a valid question to ask, okay? Obviously I'm
Yeah,
wrong. That's fine. Everybody
I
can be
mean,
wrong. I'm
if
just
your
saying.
mind functions like that, good Lord. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't think there's any Irish heritage in Idaho.
Okay.
So,
Well, just by chance there. All right, so Savannah anyways. Whatever, dude.
so Savannah, yeah. So like they have a 200-year-old celebration, um, that's been going on forever. Obviously, it's in the recent past they've had to go um, without some parades and stuff because of the whole COVID thing. But they dyed the fountains, they dyed the river. They have these
Mm.
massive. So there's a whole massive river, obviously, that runs into Savannah, and that's just yeah, bro. Kegs and kegs and kegs. That's where I had my first Yingling
Oh,
ever.
really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Um. And I mean, it was like the people that took us there kept explaining to us like, hey, this is gonna be bigger than you think, and I'm like, it can't be that crazy. Like, I've been to like Ren Fest, I've been to like some massive festivals, I've been to Mardi Gras at this point. Like, this can't be crazy. And then I remember we were walking, like we turned off of one street, like to go back towards like where the water was at, and like there was literally just it looked like a parking lot full of kegs. And I
My
was like,
gosh.
good Lord. They were just stacked up everywhere. And I was like, good Lord, they're bringing in a bunch of beer. And then when we got closer, we realized all of that had already been consumed.
It was empty. They were all
And it
empty.
was it was like fucking 11 o'clock.
Oh my
And I
gosh.
was like, holy shnikes. And yeah, fun fact. Um it's I believe walkable from the bench where they filmed Forrest Gump.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's not in Alabama. It's in Georgia and it's in Savannah. But yeah, from
Yeah.
that little park bench area. But anyway, so I do highly recommend that if you enjoy big celebrations tied to religious holidays, you get out to Savannah and check it out for St. Patrick's Day.
Hmm.
Um, it just like anything else, yeah, there's long lines for beer, there's, long lines for food and stuff like that, but it's kind of like an open air market. It's not like you have to pay to get in per se. It's just like everybody's showing up and getting drunk in the street, but like in order for you to do that, you have to purchase, food and alcohol there.
Yeah, of course. Well, I mean, that's how it should
Um,
be. I wonder why I guess a lot of places don't, I guess, have like infrastructure for a big St. Patty's Day thing like that. But like, I just feel like other places don't really celebrate it very big.
no, I think, back to your stereotyping earlier, I think it just ties into like where Irish folks are rooted. You know what I mean? Like where historically the towns prior to like it being a big attraction and like just a massive party, like where towns um naturally celebrated. Like I think that's what creates the foundation for like these crazy ones now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. It just seems a little sad, you know.
Yeah. Also, it's Irish rooted. So, if there's not large populations of Irish folk, then I wouldn't imagine that it's something that's going to be widely by like the entire city celebrated.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's not like it's Christmas or New Year's or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
It's more niche of a
So
holiday.
the History Channel says here the last and largest migration of the Irish came as Ireland was facing one of the most tragic moments in history, the Great Famine in the mid 1800s, of
Which
which
was a
no
famine
one
of
moved.
what?
Potatoes, but then it goes on to
Mm.
say of which no one chose to migrate to Idaho.
It does
So
not say.
that's pretty bad.
It
No,
does
no,
not
but
say that.
but,
It
but it
doesn't.
was
You
inferred. It
forgot
was
to
fucking
say. You
inferred.
forgot to say. For not which one. Not one migrated to Idaho. Randall. LOL.
Yeah,
That's what it was
no,
supposed
but
to say then.
so I mean, it was implied. It was implied. It was. I was reading between the lines there. But anyway, so that's a couple of little snippets on ye old St. Patrick's Day. One other don't. I think I mentioned this one as we were pre-prepping, but like one other don't. You can't. You don't get the right to judge people for early morning drinking,
Mm, yeah.
because it's just one of those holidays. Obviously, we want everybody to be safe. We don't want to get see people get too rowdy, but like, there's nothing wrong with a beer at six
Yeah.
thirty. You know what I mean?
I think that goes hand in hand also here in America with Fourth of July.
Yeah, dude, I mean, you can't drink all day if you don't start early,
Yeah.
and so it's just one of those things.
Yeah,
Um,
I agree.
what?
We don't need to judge people for grabbing a morning beer, a breakfast beer, if you will,
No, I
on St.
do,
Patty's Day.
but a callback to this: do stay hydrated because
Hell
it's a
yeah.
long day. It's also, I think, this is a pretty critical point. I mean, obviously, staying hydrated is always very important, but I feel like around St. Patrick's Day, that's right when people start losing grasp on how hydrated they need to stay because temperatures are changing.
Yeah.
You haven't been outside much. You've just kind of been cooped up in the house. This now, it's the season's getting good enough for you to go out and about, and you're like, fuck it, I'm gonna day drink in this blazing sun. And the next thing you know, you're all cotton mouth passed out on a bench somewhere.
At
You need to get some
12:30
water in you
p.m.
at 12:30 in the day. Yeah,
Yeah.
and also too, like this year it falls on a Sunday, but like also like most years it's like fucking Tuesday or
Yeah.
something. You know, you
Yeah.
got to go to
People
work
are
at the same.
people are going no, people take off work sometimes. People take off work but they got to go to work the next day. You know what I mean?
Dude, I bet you this year, I bet you the ones on the weekends are even more rowdy because people just, dude, it blows
Have
my
no
people.
regard for self-control.
Yeah, dude, it just seems to me like when we were young, like even I remember even in college, like people would kind of be like a little more conservative about like, I got things to go. Dude, people are full sending it on Super Bowl Sunday now.
Oh
And
yeah.
like they're just like, oh, 4th of July's on a Thursday? Fuck it. I'll just quit my job. And you're like, good God, why is that, you know?
Yeah. I can't full send on the Super Bowl, but I don't even know if I can't even really like overeat on the Super Bowl anymore. I won't wake up on Monday. You know what I mean? Like if
Yeah,
if
I thought I was
I
gonna really send it, but I was bloated about halftime, so I gave up.
and halftime now is like 7 o'clock. So it's
Yeah,
like,
dude,
you know,
it is sad. Like, definitely that's an aging thing, but like, dude, it is sad when you're like, oh no, I'm gonna have to dial it back during the halftime show because I don't want to be
yeah.
gassy on Monday. You know what I mean? Nothing's worse than
It's
just
so
being
true.
gassy on a Monday.
There's almost nothing worse than a Super Bowl party at this point. You know what I mean? Because like you
Yeah.
show up to Super Bowl party, and you're like, let's do it, man. Like let's get weird, right? And then you crack open that second beer in the first quarter, and you kick back on the freaking couch, and you're like, well,
Well,
I think it's about time to head home. You know?
gonna hit the old dusty trail.
Yeah. You ready to go after this beer, babe? I think I'm good to go.
So that brings me to my next point, since I'm so suave with segues.
Mm.
Is there any like okay, so we joke about this a lot. This is why wanted to bring this topic up today. We talk about this a lot, but I'm interested to know like is it possible that we've overlooked one? All right, so let me set the scene. We talk about how as humans we have over scienced everything.
Yeah.
Like how this can is manufactured, the colors that go into this branding, how much air is intaked into your nose with the beer that makes it taste this way. You can fucking over science everything, right? Not just the tech. Like when people think science, they think of like just the technology that we're using. But no, it's like here's how to increase spin on a baseball throw as a pitching coach. Like
Yeah.
everything is worked
Rotations
out.
per minute have become an insane
Yes.
thing in baseball. Or
So
per
so
second.
everything like manufacturing the bat out of this particular wood harvested at this particular time out of this particular forest is going to generate the best bat for the folks that swing at this speed, right? Whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
that's how crazy we science shit. Okay, but is there anything that you can think of that is not an exact science? Because here's the thing. All the time I find myself in situations where I go, well, I mean, it's not really an exact science, when in fact it probably is a fucking very exact science. Okay. But is there
I
anything you can think of that is not an exact science?
don't know. I'm gonna need
Because
you to go
I'm
first. I'm
not
gonna
going to,
need you to go first.
so
If you
I don't
have something.
necessarily, I don't have one. That's the thing. I don't have one because every single time I think of one,
Okay.
immediately I think of the reason why it is scienced,
If
or at
there's
least
something that's
overthought.
not an exact science.
Yeah, dude. Like, what is something that humans haven't taken to the extreme in understanding it so that they know the best possible way to approach it? There's not a single thing. What?
I think there's I don't think there's been scientifically proven a best way to do this. Okay, it's gonna be really random, but it's the first thing I thought of. Okay, I think each individual person that does this thinks they do it the best way. All right,
Okay.
backing up a truck to a trailer.
Oh no, definitely worked out. So they have taken. Oh, dude, yeah, I got this one
Really?
slam dunk. Yeah, yeah. So Ford now has computer programming
That does it
that.
for you.
Oh yeah, 100%. You just hit a button and it does it. It'll back it right up to the ball.
Of course.
There's also a camera now that there's a camera that will see through the trailer. I don't know how the fuck that works. so that you can see on the other side of it, even if it's behind you, and the truck will still put a dead spot into the spot.
That's
Yeah,
insane.
trippy. What's even weirder is it'll even do double trailers. So like if you have a trailer that has a ball that has another trailer connected to it, it'll do that
Oh
shit too.
man,
Yeah.
that's
So
crazy.
that's a small example, but yeah, super scienced. And it's just based on like
Oh,
obviously angles, speed, the length of the unit, camera sensors, all those things. Um
wow.
yeah, dude, I try all the time. Like like
Our parents' generation would be mad at that. They're probably furious at that.
blown away. Well, I will say this. So it's funny that you say the whole back. I mean, not necessarily trailers as of late. I mean, but I have. But like my rear camera has been out in my vehicle for a little bit now.
Mm.
Okay. The backup camera. And like the other day I was going somewhere and Katie was like, "Oh shit, well, we can't back in." And I was like, "Why not?" She was like, "Because your camera doesn't work." And I was like, "Yeah, I don't I
I,
don't really need that."
I,
You know?
listen, that was just a privilege. I don't need that.
Yeah, so it was just very weird to me to think like, huh, like that's I guess you're right, like, but we don't need that. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
So that one's scienced out. On that note, also a fun fact, I was in Bass Pro Shops. We're not sponsored, obviously. But yeah, I was in Bass Pro
I
Shops the other
wish.
day, and the woman was telling me that their card tapper like
Yeah.
was out. It was out, and she was saying they've had a lot of she's had a lot of younger people come through that don't understand what swiping the card is.
No shot.
Yes, because it's all chip and tapping now.
That's only been like for 2 years.
No, dude, it's been like probably 7.
No, not
Yes, they
since
have been
it
forcing
came
a.
out. But I'm talking. It's only been like 2 years since that became like everywhere has it.
Oh, the tapping, but they've been
Yeah.
forcing the chip down our fucking throats for at least
Oh
six, five,
yeah.
six, 7 years.
Well, yeah. But not every place has had it. A lot of places you've gone, you still have to swipe. You
No,
know,
no, no.
not
They've had chip
now.
from.
Not now.
Yeah,
You either insert it or tap it now, but you don't
but
have to
think about
swipe it
it.
anymore.
Even 4 or 5 years of people not knowing what that function is pretty trippy, dude. It's weird.
That's
Yeah.
so like
So just to
yeah.
keep everyone honest and everybody on their toes, I wrote a check. You know,
Oh, okay. Okay.
I'm joking.
You
I'm
were
joking.
that you were that guy?
I did not. I did not. But we were in line
You
the other.
handed it to the 60-year-old that was behind the counter and she goes, "What are you doing?"
No, but the other day, this is a true story. The other day, we were in line waiting to check out somewhere, and like the line was moving really, really slow. And we thought, like, oh shit, like they only have a couple registers open, and they only had a couple registers open. And but anyways, long story short, um, and it was one of those situations where everybody's in the same line, and then like a random register will open, and you walk to it. You know what I'm saying? It was kind of
Yeah.
that one of those, right? And so, it was just taking forever, and like jokingly like Katie was like, "Oh, somebody must be at number 6 writing a fucking check because like they've been there forever." And I'd be damned, dude, if we didn't turn that corner and they were paying with a
Right.
check.
That's
And
hilarious.
the guy was like looking at it and he was like, hmm,
I,
I know that it goes into this computer somehow,
can I
but I'm not
accept
quite
this?
sure. Yeah.
Is this
Come on, sir.
legal?
Get your IOUs out of here, sir. We take only cold hard cash.
You know,
But yeah,
that always did kind of blow my, because obviously the even the time I grew up in, really no one was writing checks, right?
yeah.
The card was pretty big then, even at that point. And so like when I would see someone writing a check, I would just be like, how, what if the like you just people take this check and put it in the register and cash it later? I don't
Yeah.
understand. What if it bounced?
Oh, well, then you get a return check fee, and like that's written on the sign, and then obviously they can come after you.
Oh, see, I didn't know
Yeah.
that stuff because I never, obviously, I mean, one, I never had to go through that, but two, I was just always like, I don't understand. Why would you not have money on you if you're going shopping? you know.
Yeah, I think it was a safer. I mean, it was the precursor to credit cards. It was basically like a
Mm,
credit card if you were. I mean, not a credit card, excuse me, like a debit
like a
card.
debit card, yeah.
It's just you didn't have to carry cash around with you, and you had access to all your funds if you think
Mm.
about it. You know?
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, it's
That's
traceable.
something. Listen, cards are something that was an exact science. You know, people figured it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, credit really isn't, but that's a whole different story. You know,
Yeah, I know. Well, I'm sure at least there's an algorithm. It's a shitty science, but at least there's some type of algorithm that's
it's
built
not
into it. What
exact
it is,
though.
I don't. I okay. Well, I guess let me clarify here. What I meant by exact science is it's been thought out to where there's at least parameters for best case scenario. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I don't. I don't. I
Ideal
don't know if I have anything,
circumstances.
dude. I think pretty much
No.
everything to at this point of time is pretty much an exact science. That's why businesses pop up all over the place doing random things. You know what I mean?
Dude, okay. Okay, it is, but also the reason that I think there's still hope for not everything is completely figured out is because you still this is going to be the stupidest justification, but it's true. Like the reason I know that not everything is worked out to a complete science and not everything is like ideal state is because there's still an as seen on TV section at every fucking grocery store. You know what I mean? People are still coming up with shit that you don't need, but you do, kind of. You know?
Well,
Does that make
yeah, yeah, but those people, yeah, that's true. I mean, they're working out the
you,
science, you know.
you see what I'm saying? Like, and there'll be like something that's like super hard hitter and it gets real popular right now, and you're like, this is the best thing that's ever happened to paint scraping. I don't know, it's a bad example, but and then like 2 years later, they're like, this is the think off. You just think about scraping the paint and it automatically comes off. And you're like, this is way better. This is way
This is
fucking better.
way
Why
better
would we do this?
than that scraper from 3 years ago. You
Yeah, it's
know,
ridiculous.
you know what? Speaking of as seen on TV, whatever happened to the Sham Wow, man?
Oh,
That
dude.
was like
Like,
the
well,
biggest revolutionary thing since OxyClean.
I never had a ShamWow because it seemed like a scam now, is what it did. But I
They
never had a
weren't great.
ShamWow. Did you have one? Have you even physically seen one in
Yeah,
person?
we got one at some point.
Did it work?
I mean, it was a rag, man. It works as a rag, you know.
Okay, okay. I didn't ever have one. But yeah, the ShamWow, I don't know what happened to it. It went downhill. But I'll tell you one thing that I wish would have actually made it. I don't think that it did. But it was on an episode of Shark Tank. And I think about this a lot. Not Conway Twitty hair a lot, but a lot.
Okay.
Fucking it was called a Spatty Daddy. Did you see this?
Was it a spatula?
It was a tiny spatula, little tiny spatula on a long stick. And you would use it like you know how when you get done with peanut butter, you can't get the shit in the bottom because your spatula's not long enough. But it has to be small enough to fit in the grooves, and like a knife won't fit in there.
Yeah.
And dude, you could scrape like dude, they had examples. You could get like all but like um I can't remember what the percentage was. It was like all but
Point
like
oh oh one.
0.2% of the peanut.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. Dude, for lotions, like this woman sold them or like, the whole marketing scheme was um for like high-end makeups, for that are ridiculously expensive. You can
Yeah.
get I'll consume it all. And like at first I was like, yeah, this is kind of a stupid idea. And then I was like, you know what, I could get behind it. And all the sharks were like, nah, we're gonna pass. It's a glorified spatula. But dude, all the time I'm like, damn, if I only had a spatty daddy, I'd get that shit out of there. You know?
Sometimes you get to the end of that peanut butter and you're like, man, I got a whole nother sandwich in there.
Bro, it's not even just peanut butter. It's like also too, listen, I'm not selling spatty daddies, but I'll take what I can get on kickbacks. But it keeps your fucking hands clean too.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse than like we have the massive. We go through peanut butter like it's nobody's business. And we got the big ass Costco ones, and every time you dip that knife in there, you get that shit all over your knuckles, and the next thing you know, you're rolling around in peanut butter grease for the next 3 days.
Everything's slippery and
Yeah,
delicious.
and also remotely causing anaphylactic shocks in public
Yeah.
circumstances.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
so anyways, I wish the Spatty Daddy would have made it. And that's how I know that we haven't worked everything out to a science, because there's still folks out there willing to put their life on the line for the next as seen on TV miracle.
That's true. You know what? You know what else was another good as seen on TV invention though? Was
What?
the globe things you would put in your plant. They would like water your
Oh yeah, that
plant
would
for a
water
week
them.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Those were legit, dude.
I think we might actually have some. Like, we didn't buy them when they were all the craze, but
Oh, I know. A
yeah, I
bunch
think
of
we might.
companies came out making them so much cheaper.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. There's also ones now that like you can clip a ghetto ass 2 liter bottle on and just stick it
Oh
in
yeah.
next to it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Um.
That's what people
Yeah,
started
dude.
doing. They were like, "Hey, we can do the same thing with our old Coke bottles." It literally
Yeah,
does
dude.
the exact same thing.
The OG, like, everybody thinks, Flex Seal and
Yeah.
OxyClean, obviously, but
Billy Mays here. Yeah.
yeah, Billy
The
Mays for
goat.
OxyClean.
The goat. Now, who's the Flex Seal guy? Is
Ah,
it
man, we're
Phil
gonna have to
something?
go.
Is it Phil
Yeah, I think it
something?
is.
And
Yeah,
he's
and he's
just
always got a damn. He's always got a boat with a screen
with a
door in the
screen
bottom. I'm
door
like,
on
no
the
shit, it doesn't work.
No, it does work though, dude.
No, I mean the boat wouldn't originally.
Oh yeah. He's like, in order to prove how good Flex Seal is, I put a screen door on the bottom of this boat.
Phil Swift.
Phil Swift, yeah.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
guy's a
bro.
legend.
Flex Seal.
That guy's
Flex
net worth
Caulk.
has to be like 25 mil minimum.
Bro, and he's just always slapping shit on the holes that are pouring water out of it. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
By the
Dude,
way,
he
it
has.
doesn't work like that at all.
No, no, dude.
The best one is
I,
when he has the bucket. He has the bucket that's leaking out the side with water just
yeah.
spewing, and he takes the Flex Seal caulk stuff and just slaps it on, and it stops. I'm like, that is not true at all.
I will say this. I have not used the Flex tape, but Flex Seal itself, if used according to the directions and not on a wet surface, is some badass shit.
Oh yeah,
But it's also one of those things where like a quart would paint a battleship. I mean, you get that shit everywhere.
yeah,
It is everywhere. Dude, always so confident too. I Phil Swift here.
yeah.
And I just put a yeah. And I just drilled a 4-foot hole in the bottom of a fucking battleship. Like, just stupid.
In order to prove to you how good
Yeah.
Flex
I just
Seal.
put 250 lives at risk by drilling this hole inside this vessel. Let's hope this shit works. Buckle up, cowboys.
I'm
And
gonna
then
use the
meanwhile,
Flex Seal putty fresh.
yeah. It
It's
fills gaps up to 5.5 feet. And then in the asterisk says might take 700 tubes of Flex Seal.
in 3 5-gallon cans of Flex Seal, just slaps it down in one go. Oh man, it's so
Yeah.
true. It's so true.
Welcome back to Fucking Shit Up for No Reason. I'm your host, Phil Swift.
Oh
Yeah.
god, dude.
Good times, old
It's
Philly.
so true. It's so true. I would love to see what else that guy could do with Flex Seal for real.
Yeah, does he pitch any other products now? Because I think Billy Mays had a couple different ones, right?
Did he? I just thought once he got to OxyClean, I'm pretty sure he stopped.
I mean, dude, why would you need to do anything else?
He was the guy, man. Billy Mays here with OxyClean.
Yeah, dude.
R.I.P. the legend. He really paved the path for Phil Swift. Let's be honest with ourselves.
Oh, yeah, dude. There would be no Phil Swift without Bill Mays. Or the English guy.
The English guy.
Yeah, bro. Who was the English guy after Billy Mays?
Why no? Billy Mays was before the ShamWow guy, right?
Oh, yeah. He was before him, but there was another guy in between.
The ShamWow guy always creeped me out, if I'm being honest.
Oh, yeah. He also was, like, arrested for doing a bunch of shady shit, too. But,
okay. Are we
you
sure
don't remember
about that
that
before we just say it?
Oh, yeah. That's not slander at all. Yeah,
No, I don't
Vince
remember that at
Offer.
all. I don't remember that at all. He seemed like
Yeah,
one of those
dude.
guys though, because why was he always wearing that, that creepy like drive-through headset on the show, on the commercials?
Yeah,
Who's he talking to?
I don't know.
Whose order are you taking,
Uh,
bro? We're just trying to listen to what ShamWows do.
yeah, officers and a 26-year-old prostitute were both arrested in Miami Beach, Florida, after a physical altercation.
Yeah.
Yeah, but dude, he had some killer Dude, he had the freaking ShamWow, obviously. Then he had the slap chop.
Oh, I
That's
remember the slap
clutch.
chop. The slap chop
Dude, then he
actually
had
seemed legit.
oh, the slap chop is. My dad has owned multiple slap chops. Big fan. Personally sold probably over 100 units easily by
Well,
himself.
maybe that means they're not good.
No, no. He also had the sticky. You remember that?
No, I don't remember the sticky.
Dude, the reusable lint roller. And like you would just dump it in a bucket and all the shit would come off of it and it would get super
Oh, yeah.
sticky again.
I
Yeah.
do.
They also had the crank chop, not as effective as the slap
Efficient.
chop. But I'm gonna think of that other guy's name.
The English Billy Mays.
Yeah,
I
he
don't
took
know, man.
over.
He
For
took
the
over
brand.
OxyClean?
No, I don't know.
I feel like listen, R.I.P. the legend Billy Mays. I feel like when he died, OxyClean died.
Yeah, no, there's a guy that took over for him, but I bet you it did hurt them.
Because I can guarantee you there was a slew of people that were just Billy Mays fans that were buying it just because of him.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And then OxyClean started doing the whole like, we're partnering with Tide type thing, or whoever, like Tide with OxyClean. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah,
So they kind of went away from their own brand.
Billy Mays is definitely the best ever. Okay,
Oh yeah.
we we know about Vince Offer, dude. Who he's got to be on here. I mean, Richard Simmons was good.
The
Who
Kiss
else?
guy?
What?
The guy from Kiss?
No, that's Gene Simmons.
Yeah, that was a joke.
Big, in fact, complete. Okay, okay. So you know who Richard Simmons is.
Yes.
Okay, okay. I was very confused for a second, bro. I don't know if he's gonna be on here. Uh. I think it is Anthony Sullivan.
Anthony Sullivan. I don't know who that is.
I think that's right.
I have no
Anyway,
idea. We had a
it's
we had
gotta
a
be.
we had a great run with As Seen. You don't really see those commercials anymore. Now it's As
No.
Seen on Instagram or As Seen
Yeah,
on TikTok, As Seen on Twitter.
yeah. I mean, I wonder what the home shopping network's like now.
It's not the same. I think the next best guy now is the one that sells like the cooking stuff, the chef that sells like the air
X
fryers and
Pack.
stuff now.
Oh, I
He
don't know
he,
that.
he
Does he have
sells
a
like
bun?
no,
Okay.
no, it's a older. I don't even want to say like overweight because he's not really like fat, but like, you know, not. I mean, he's a chef. Can't remember his name, but he was gone from like selling spatulas and knives and stuff. Now he sells like air fryers and certain like crock pot type things, pressure cookers, whatnot. He's all over like the Food Network at like 4 in the morning. You know what I mean?
Is he like famous?
Yeah, he's like a famous chef. I mean, he's not like freaking, you know,
We're not
fa-
talking Emeril Lagasse, are we?
oh, I think yeah, maybe.
Okay,
I
yeah.
think that's him.
Emeril Lagasse is a sellout, but yeah, he was a New Orleans-based chef that was
Yeah, but
very
now he
popular.
sells stuff.
Oh yeah, he always had like a product line that he was hustling for. But yeah, Anthony Sullivan had the trusty cane. It's like that little four-legged cane. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, okay.
He had the Robo Stir. You remember that? You just put it in the pot and it stirs by itself.
Set it and forget it.
No, 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 no. That was somebody else. That was the rotisserie chicken.
Oh yeah, that's right.
He had the Shave Mate. I don't even want to know what that is.
Me either.
The H2O mop. It was just like a little steam mop thing.
Okay.
The
That had to
one
be a
second,
90s
dude,
thing.
bro. This guy was definitely playing cleanup to the other leaders in the org because he had the 1 second needle that was a built-in needle that threads itself. Who the fuck's still using a needle and
What?
thread? Anyway, yeah. The old Tater Tornado potato cutter.
I remember that one.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one. The Tool Bandit. It's an adjustable magnetic armband.
I remember that too, actually.
Twin blade saws. The grater plate.
The grater plate.
Yeah, it's literally a plate that has a textured grater in the bottom of it.
Okay.
Bro.
Actually, that's pretty legit.
I mean, I guess you use it for gark. Oh, dude. Oh, man. So, yeah, you could just tell it was different times. The Jupiter Jack.
I
Dude, it
don't
was
remember that one.
it was for your car. You plugged it into the headphone port and you could wirelessly hands-free talk on the phone.
Yeah. Things have
Obvious.
changed.
Yeah. Dude, he had some good ones. But yeah, Anthony Sullivan is who took over for Billy Mays on OxyClean, but no way he kept those ratings as high.
Yeah, no shot. He is the one that took over.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Interesting. All right, well, we need to get into the WWYBDs here. I'm gonna let you go first this week, actually.
So super cliche. I don't think I seek out an Irish red at all unless it is St. Patty's season. So this is something that I would be drinking, but for St. Patrick's Day, but not at a parade. Like when I'm at a parade, I want some shit green generic beer or maybe a Guinness or something like that, just to be cliche. This is something that I would want to do inside of a pub, like just real slick old bar, cheap bar stools, wooden floors, bunch of shit just hanging on the walls, hasn't been cleaned in quite some time, like that good homey feel.
Yeah.
And I would get it in a pint and I would enjoy probably one or two. Like I'm not gonna say obviously it's light enough to continue drinking, but I don't find myself, not that they're bad, I don't get the urge to drink a lot of Irish Reds. I'll have one or two and then I would switch to something else. But yeah, it's
just
a
in
pub.
general,
Just a
not this one in particular.
late afternoon on Patty's Day. I didn't start early. I don't plan on running late. A couple of beers in the afternoon with some folks at a pub. That's what I would do with this one.
Yeah. All right. That's pretty. You were talking about that. I don't know why, but I immediately wondered if 11 Below dyes this green for St. Patty's Day.
Dude, this is a tough one. So we didn't bring this up earlier, and I know now's not the time to circle back, but I think you have to have like a really, really light beer to dye it green.
I
If you
think you
dyed
do.
this green, I think it would be almost black by the time it was dyed. You know what I
By
mean?
the time you got enough dye to change the color at all. Yeah.
Yes.
So this to me is screaming, and I don't know why, but it's screaming horseshoe beer. So like this is something that I'm gonna drink specifically when I'm outdoors and the weather isn't too hot. Obviously it's like this time, right? It's like spring, the beginning of spring here in Texas at least. And I'm outside playing some horseshoes and I got this bad boy. Also, I feel like, with the name, I might be doubling me luck a little bit,
Dude,
I might be winning on some horseshoes.
I don't know why why I've had this as of late. Like I think last week we for sure aligned on exactly what they would be, or maybe I changed my answer because yours was so perfect. But this one, whenever you said horseshoes, like I could see myself drinking it, playing horseshoes, and the play on W Your Luck and all that. But if I'm playing horseshoes, it would be in the hill country. I don't know why this is something like I would be in the hill country / Guadalupe further west,
Yeah.
playing horseshoes, drinking this. If I'm playing horseshoes like around where we live, I'm not gonna drink this. I don't know why.
Oh,
That
that's
just
fair.
is what clicked in my head. Anyway.
For me, I specifically saw it at our neighbors, so I saw it in like this area.
Okay.
But I can see why you think that. You know,
Yeah,
I can get that vibe.
for some reason, anything that's super like ale-y to me pairs better with Hill Country
Yeah,
spring than it does here spring.
yeah. I think it's maybe not as humid.
Yeah.
Maybe. All right. Well, we can get into the ratings now. I'll go ahead and go first for this
Killer.
one. Um, for entry, I have a 3. That's, it's pretty standard going in for the most part. Aftertaste, I have a 4. I actually think it gets better on the aftertaste myself. And I like the mouthfeel after. Body, I have a 4. I think it's slightly better than average. It's not the best one I've had, but it's not bad by any means. Color, I have a 5. It's almost damn near perfect on the color that we saw in the glass earlier. Bitterness, I have a 4. Honestly, could be a 5, but I can leave it at a 4 for now. I think it's pretty spot on. There might be some that are a little bit better though. Acidity, I have it a 3. Again, maybe a 4, but I'm gonna leave it at a 3. It's pretty middle of the road, average, what I expect. Fizz, I do have it a 5. I had a lot of burps during this
Really?
episode, and
Okay.
every single one of them was very pleasurable. Um, it could almost be a 6 in the sense of I had the perfect amount, and they were amazing every single time I had one. So my total comes to a 28, but like I said, it could easily be like a 30. Very solid beer. Not a fridge sitter for me. Um, I would. This is one we bring this up a little bit, or we usually bring this up at the end of episodes, but I do think I would probably like it a little bit more on draft.
Yeah. So for the sake of research, I am gonna drink. I have one more since we split a sixer. I'm gonna drink it out of the can just because I enjoy the beer, but the smell of it in the glass is so off-putting that I have to hold my breath to drink it out of the glass. So
Oh gosh.
I'm gonna see if the can changes that. But anyway, but not bad rating. It didn't play into the ratings. I get it. Like it tastes good once I block out the smell on the incoming. So entry, I have it a 3. I think it was right there on for an ale. No better, no worse. And after it stays consistent. We talk about consistency being key. Getting better or staying consistent is great. The last thing you want is like to start with a 4 and end with a 3, or start with a 4 and end with a 2,
Yeah.
or whatever. So 3 on the aftertaste. Body, I have it a 4. Great mouthfeel. Uh, Better than the average, so I enjoy it. Also, after I've had now 1.5, there's a little, and all Irish Reds I think should be like this. There's a little bit of dryness that starts to occur on the side of the tongue, right? It's not
Yeah.
like red wine dry, but it's there. Color, I have a 4. Again, could have been a 5. Honestly, even higher because it does have a beautiful color, but I usually lock them in when I lock them in. Bitterness, I have a 4 as well. I think a little slightly better than mid center. Acidity, I have it a 3. I felt like it's not flat, but it kind of the sweetness comes through a little rich. If it were just had a little more acidity to it, it would make more of a consistent flavor throughout. And then fizz, I have it a 4. Yet again, could have been a 5. I usually lock that one in after like it's the last rating that I lock in, but I lock it in pretty early. So yeah, over time, I guess it could have gone up. So 25, which is not a bad score, right?
Yeah.
Nothing below par, and some that were slightly above. Like I said, for the sake of ongoing research, I'm gonna drink it out of a can to see if that changes the smell. But I agree, this would be one that I would rather have on tap. I think.
Yeah. Well, maybe. I've never had it on tap, but I can assume that it will only get better, you know.
I don't know. I can't remember if I had it on tap, but I don't ever remember the smell, so I don't know.
I will say also, you mentioned the caramel, like a caramel. There
Yeah.
is caramel in it. So,
Oh, really?
yes, I meant to say that earlier on, um, but they do use caramel malt,
Well, oil
apparently.
beef hooked.
Well, it'll be fooked. So
Well,
that makes
oil
sense.
beef hooked.
It makes sense, which I don't think is typical for an Irish red. At least I haven't gotten that before. Um,
Yeah.
I don't hate it. I don't necessarily love it, but it's good. You know, it's solid.
Okay.
All right, well, we have gotten to that point in the podcast where I'm going to tell you to go follow us on socials on X and TikTok at Off the Tap Pod, and on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at Off the Tap Podcast.
Don't be deterred by any smell. Take it in. Let that smell be your taste. Let that taste be your smell, or whatever he said earlier.